on top of the world, about to jump above it. Take it straight to the moon, 'cause we know how to rock it. Ain't no thing you can do, ain't no way to stop it. Now you're feeling it too, let's get it started. Throw your hands in the air while the beat is dropping. Acting like you don't care when everybody's watching. Just keep whipping your hair like that, you got it. Yeah, you're feeling it too, let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Charts off the meter, turn it up, blow the speakers, make them more to believers, break through the surface, tell them open the curtains, give them all what they wanted, yeah, now let's get started. I'm ready, let's get it, get it. Yeah, I'm ready, ready, are you ready, ready? I'm ready, let's get it started. Yeah, yeah, I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it. Yeah. Give me something new. Time to break loose. Take it to another level. Now we on the move. Shout if you coming with me. Going over the limit. On your mark, keep it steady. So tell me, are you ready? I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started.
Good evening. Our flights got canceled. We were hoping to go to virtual New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Unfortunately, we are still stuck at Chicagoland. But we at least have a change of clothes compared to Monday night. There, I am Wesley Outland, and we welcome you to coverage of the Northwest iRacing Truck Series playoffs presented by Tom Ditchell Automotive Group. Tonight, 200 miles, another 134 laps, or 140 laps. Magic Mile. Samuel, truck races. 2 races remain before the championship race at Las Vegas, just like the Cup boys. What do you think we'll see here tonight?
I think we're going to be seeing a lot of aggression. If anything, if any of our fans that watch here tonight missed out on Monday night in the Cup Series, there were a lot of tempers flaring. And yes, the Cup Series, Truck Series, they try to split off from one another, but these are similar drivers that are going to be racing around. And if some of those tempers could mount over to here, one of the drivers is going to be on the big minds of everyone is Caden Anderson. He vocally said during his interview Monday night that if he found a lap car, someone that was in his way, he was willing to move him. That's in the Cup as well in the Truck Series that you might be seeing. 37 racing a little angry. So he's going to be one of those drivers to watch out for. But Wesley, it's playoff racing. Who knows what's going to go on here tonight?
Yeah, nobody has reprimanded or said anything to Caden Anderson. A matter of fact, what I was told was some people said, hey, we kind of understand his frustrations. Sometimes lap machines, even in real racing, Samuel, can get in and cause problems in the effect of how the races are going to turn out. And in that aspect, I think that, the warning has been given. The question is, will anybody tempt Caden Anderson take that move to move somebody out of the way?
Yeah, hey, it's going to be there's been already a warning to all the drivers during the driver meeting here this evening that the drivers, hey, if there is any intentional wrecking, hey, you could be missing out, getting suspended, or even just saying you're done for the rest of the season. So drivers have already been warned here tonight. They're mostly going to be warned probably for the ARCA race and on Monday for the Cup race. Similar stats, similar things of if you intent wreck, you could be parked for the rest of the season.
So I guess that's one of those things that that honestly, since the gauntlet has been thrown down if there's any other retaliation, basically it can cost you a chance of winning a championship. So definitely, Samuel, before we throw our picks in there, do you think it's going to make these drivers mind their P's and Q's?
I think it's going to help a little bit, but once we get to actual on-race action, if there's little things of being taken out by a driver, when you're on the track surface, you get messed with, that aggression starts to build up. You get a little angry. And most drivers, they never forget. They'll never forget on, hey, you mess with me back at the beginning of the season. You mess with me again here late. I'm finally going to get my payback.
All right, picks are in. Samuel, who you riding with? Penultimate race of the playoffs tonight at New Hampshire.
I'm I'm going with the guy I've been picking a lot so far in the Truck Series, but I'm going with Dan West Jr. again. And the reason why is it's been little mistakes that have cost this 55 team from winning in this round of 8, where we've seen in these past 2 races, Dan West Jr. has been up front, and then it was a mental error in pit road that has cost this 55 team a shot for a win. Feel like here at that of New Hampshire, excuse me, we're going to see the 55 finally clean it up, and it's short track racing where he's been quick and has won before.
I was doing a college basketball game, so I let the producer pick who it's going to be for me. Who is going to be tonight's pick for Wesley? What? What do you? What is? That's not even fair. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I got love for Aaron Cooper, but stand a chance. Wow, you making me really seem bad here, Charles. This is your fault. Look, I'm gonna override your you know what, and I'm gonna pick somebody else. And I'm sorry, Aaron Cooper. Got love for you, buddy, but I just don't think you're at that caliber level yet of winning. The entire field's gonna have to wreck each other out, and you're just gonna have to be there at the end to win. I cannot believe you've done this to me, Charles Wooten. My pick is not going to be Aaron Samuel. My pick is going to be Dennis Moore. We saw what Dennis Moore's been doing the last couple of weeks. He's become talented. He's been doing really, really good. I believe he's on a trend. He's rocking and rolling. Matter of fact, he's already in the playoffs, I believe, with the win the other night. And I say keep an eye on Dennis Moore. I think he's going to win again for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, from that Beaver State Racing team, already have Dennis Moore from winning last week at Chicagoland, where we're still at currently in the booth. But I got to say, I think as a team from Beaver State Racing, it is a goal to help that of, Tyler King. I think Tyler King's probably going to be their biggest, person they're going to be helping out with. That's what a lot of drivers were talking about. Hey, if you're already locked in, it's time to help my teammate get into the Final Four.
We'll be back in a moment if I don't kill the producer here on LSRTV. We will be back with more coverage of the trucks from New Hampshire in just.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Well, you see, he's still alive. Welcome back to coverage of the Northwest iRacing Truck Series. And we're here at New Hampshire. I'm Wesley Outland. Samuel Dyer is alongside. And Samuel, obviously, man, going to be a fun race. And I will say this as well. What we saw in the Cup race on Monday night, throw it out the window for these trucks. It's going to be a completely different event.
Yeah, especially on the fact that this is, for the ARCA and for the Cup guys, they run fixed setup, meaning everyone's running the same exact setup. For the Cup, for the trucks here tonight, drivers are using an open setup. That means that all the drivers were able to go make their own setups, make any tunings they want, and also throughout the night, they can make tuning and adjustments in pit road. So it is going to be an all-night change, and each time the drivers come to pit road, they can make an adjustment that can either help them get a victory or hurt them and get a worse finish than what they could have had earlier on.
All right, so here's the race information for you. It's 30-minute practice, 2-lap qualifying, and we're going to go 134 laps for the trucks tonight instead of 140. Cup cars been 140 laps, and we're going to go 134 laps, which is the equivalent of 200 miles here for the trucks tonight here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. That is your race information presented by LSRTV. To the other side of the monitor, to the right, will be the weather conditions as well, presented by LSRTV. There it is, 105 track temp, ambient temperature virtual 179. Wind speed is it's a little wind, but not that much, and partly cloudy, but the sun's out right now. Samuel, what's that going to be like tonight for the trucks?
It's going to be similar to what we were seeing Monday night. Hot, slick, and that means these drivers have to be concerned on the exit of these corners. If you do get loose, you're banking and hoping that you get loose out of turn 2 because you got a lot more of room to try to save the truck. If you get loose out of turn 4, you've got that inside pit wall that is going to be disastrous for someone here tonight. But I think here at Wesley, the biggest change from the weather is the fact there's not as much wind, so the cloud cover might not be as drastic as it was back Monday night.
Yeah, again, we'll look at the point standings now. As obviously we are coming down to the end of things. Samuel, we talk about Devin West. We talk about Dennis Moore. He won last week. He's my pick again. Devin West won the opening week of the round of 8. And we know those guys are in the double green boxes. They're punching their ticket into a championship. Dan West Jr., Ryan Bloom, right there with each other. Sean Breitzman, Caden Anderson, Tyler King, and Kevin Smith again on the bubble. You got to make something happen right now. If you are Breitzman on back to Smith, what type of race are these drivers going to have to run, Samuel, tonight?
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, Ryan Bloom, our bubble driver, 4th place, and then you've got Sean Breitzman, who's just only 3 points back, and then 5 points, Caden Anderson. Those 3 drivers are really going to be the ones fighting for that final position based off of points. Caden Anderson and Sean Breitzman, both are going to be hoping to get a win. But it's Tyler King and that of Kevin Smith that I'm looking at for those 2 other drivers furthest back in points. Smith's already in a must-win scenario coming into tonight's race, but I feel like for Tyler King, if he does not finish in the top 3 here tonight, will be in a must-win going into next week.
And, of course, if you're 11th on back, it's just go out there and do what you got to do to get wins. And by the way, we saw a race like that on Monday. We saw a driver literally that's not in the championship racing go in there, pull an upset in Devin West, might I add. Devin West did it. And, not being a guy that wants to just drive and win for a championship, just go and throw a monkey wrench at everything. And then you think of what he's done on Monday night, Samuel, winning the Cup race. He's the number 1 seed for the trucks here in the playoffs. He's looking for a championship. Could we see him repeat again and get that second win in the round of 8 playoffs for Devin West?
Yeah, I mean, Devin West is trying something that not a lot of drivers really have the opportunity to do, and that is to sweep all 3 Northwest Racing Series of winning the ARCA on Friday. He won here at New Hampshire. He won Monday in the Cup here at New Hampshire and has a chance to win here in the trucks. So, I mean, that would be just a feat on itself, let alone knowing that he's already locked in. But we've heard, Devin West plenty of times since he's gotten his win 2 weeks ago. His mindset help his teammates, that of Sean Breitzman and his dad of Dan West Jr., get them into the Final 4.
Well, again, we're getting ready to get these guys into place, and it's going to be a fun one here. 200 miles, 134 laps. Lap 67 will be halfway, and we get them set to go here. The trucks tonight, there's right now about 20-plus trucks, or actually 20 trucks in attendance, ready to go here for this event at New Hampshire. By the way, just a little love to Aaron Cooper, who was Mike of the race. He did qualify in a pretty decent spot in years past, then races here recently. So, but my obviously riding things out here. Field is getting ready to grid. And we're 26 racing starting lineup here. So let's crank it up and let's get it started. On the front row, he is number 8. He's got to win a race to race for a championship. Doomed possibly in the Cup Series playoffs unless he can win, of course, at Homestead Monday. But here tonight at New Hampshire, Hermiston, Washington, 00 Kevin Smith to the outside. Yakima, Washington. Another guy that we said, lap cars getting his way. He might be a little impatient. Row 2 on the grid. Dan West Jr., Shelton Washington, doing pretty good to the outside. There you go. See, I would have been happy if somebody would have said, Wesley, your pick is Dan Lowther. He'll fire out fourth in the 63. Row number 3 on the grid. We'll find Sean Brightsman, defending Cup Series champ. 46 to the outside. Track King, Tyler King, Hills Oranges, number 21. Row number 4 on the grid. Dennis Moore, winner last week, to the outside. Devin West, Monday for the Cup Series here at New Hampshire, and the number 1 seed currently in the round of 8. It's already locked in to the championship 4. And to round out the top 10, Ryan Bloom with a Monster Energy, number 25. Stephen O'Hare, the Talladega winner, making his way in a run for a championship. He'll fire off 10th in the number 41.
Then falling back to row number 6, we find the Catman for the 333 is James Vining with that of Roy Grande in the 18 for row number 6. Back in row number 7, we find that of Jeff Stabnow in the 24. And our producer's pick for Wesley, it's Aaron Cooper in the 71, finishing out row number 7. Row 8 is going to be Stephen Paulison, and Roy Foreign-Eric's going to be in the 26, finishing out row number 8. And then in row 9, it's BJ Tidrick and Troy Daggett. And our final row of tonight's race is going to be that of Scott Hutchinson and that of Frank Harris. And Wesley for our pole sitter, that of Kevin Smith. This is his 8th pole of the season.
Oh, and by the way, this is Ohio's 134 laps on the Magic Mile. Here they come. Pace cars in. We're truck racing. Round of 8. New Hampshire. You have a virtual race.
Already seeing drivers on where they want to place themselves. Caden Anderson on the outside, going to be trying to get a run for himself, but the inside groove just able to get back on the throttle way sooner than 37. And Caden Anderson seems to be going with the more relaxed strategy. Just let the drivers go. He'll try to strike back on the long run.
Field working off turn 4. Cross the line. Opening lap. Give it to the man in red. Here's the thing. He's outside the cutoff. But here's also the thing. That red can light up and become green. Red light, green light, green light, red light. He controls his own destiny.
Boy.
Kevin Smith.
Trouble on the backstretch.
Oh, no.
It's that James Vining in the 333.
Oh, I thought it was Aaron Cooper. James Vining, the Catman, is going around, but no caution. There is no caution for the 333.
Just like I was noting on at the start of the broadcast, drivers that get loose, it is very easy. It's going to be something for a lot of these drivers that they're going to be struggling on throughout the whole entire run, and they're seeing drivers even further back trying to hold on for themselves.
30-45, fastest for today, and there you see him just turning. Wow, doing good. We're underway.
Yeah. Kevin Smith just put down another fastest lap with a 30-34. That is a full tenth faster than the lap previous to that, showing that he's starting to get more heat built up. Feeling a little bit smoother is the 00, but as we're seeing drivers throughout the back kind of fading and having issues coming out of the corner. But Wesley, it's been the long run where the 00 has been struggling the most. The short run's great, but as we see the battle that's going on, gotta wonder for Sean Brightsman, what speed does the 46 have?
What speed does he have? Indeed, it is right now that way back off out of turn number 2 to the back straightaway. A little sideways for Dan West Jr. down to the inside of the racetrack. So Nels now getting back in line. That's also Sean Brightsman. Boy, I tell you what, Sean Brightsman, Samuel, has changed up the colors on his truck. What a brighter purple color on the 46 now.
Yeah, it was starting to fool me. Whenever I see that bright purple, I think of that of Robert Gamble most of the time running that scheme. But Sean Brightsman in the 46, currently in 6th position, and also going to be 5th in the points coming into tonight's race. A driver that has already found victory lane twice this season. He possibly is going to need win number 3 to make sure he goes on for a championship 4.
Underway here in this event tonight. Still a lot of racing left to go. Watching these guys work their way to the front straightaway. There's Sean Brightsman, Bright's Boutique entry. Dan Lowther, Team Ramrod, Ford up on the outside. Battling the Chevrolet of West Racing, Devin West. And oh my goodness, it looked like for a second there, Samuel, that That Dan Lowther bounced off the wall on the back straightaway. Saves it, keeps going.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly does look that at times, especially with how bumpy this course can be coming out of the corners. It can look like a driver just bounced off the wall with the way that the trucks shimmy off. But for right now, I think for Dan Lowther, it's got to be top 10 finish in mind of the 63. Dan Lowther has shown a lot of pace throughout this week in the Cup and in the trucks, but certainly one of those things for the 63 team, kind of similar to Kevin Smith, has been the long run pace. Does the 63 have any way of keeping up in the top 10?
Underway as the field crosses back across the startish line. About to work in 10 laps next time around here. As 8 laps are completed, working lap 9. Kevin Smith, the man out in front. There's Sean Brightsman, Dan Lowther. King right there. That's it. Topic 7th and 8th while they hit the back straightaway. Everybody right now weasels their way single file. Separation amongst a lot of the pack as they work their 20 trucks tailgate to tailgate off of turn 4 with some separation in some spots across the line.
Yeah, a lot of the separation that we're seeing is back around 12th and 13th. That's where they're really spreading out. But from 1st back to 12th, they're all still pretty jam-packed with one another, as you see 12th position runner, that of BJ Tidrick, with that of Jeff Stabnow ahead of him, as well as Ryan Bloom in the 25 truck, going to be currently running in 10th place. And our winner from last week at Chicagoland, Dennis Moore, going to be just lingering in 9th. We'll see what speed Dennis Moore has if he wants to really be aggressive. But usually, Wesley, when we see the Beaver State Racing team, it's always that long run when they really find the pace in these trucks, and they're just so much faster than everyone else.
Yeah, there certainly is as they work to the back straightaway. Look at Devin West, a little wiggle there for just a second. Holds it back, keeps on. You see the legend on the ticker on the bottom left. You see the green means you've advanced. It's 2 drivers, of course, Devin West and Dennis Moore from Truck Wins. They're racing for a championship in a couple of weeks at Las Vegas, regardless for the rest of the outcome. Blue, including Dan West Jr., Ryan Bloom, they are currently in the final 4 by virtue of points. Drivers out 4 in positions 5, 6, 7, and 8, and they're in orange. Driver in red is the number 8 seed, obviously. That was 4, 5, 6, and 7. Driver in red is the number 8 seed, which is Kevin Smith. He needs to win, Samuel. And we talked about this, and it's coming down to crunch time now, man. He's got to win. If he doesn't win, he is not going to run for a championship, but he's doing good right now, and the 00 is out in front.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, for that of Smith, he is certainly running well currently. And for Kevin Smith, his one win this season came at the road course at the beginning of the playoffs so long ago at the Indy road course. And I got to say, for the 00, he's shown a lot of speed here whenever we're at the short tracks. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was able to find a win here, but he's got a lot of hungry drivers behind him. And the fastest truck on the track currently is Devin West in the 5. You know, your audible pick there, Wesley, he is going to be quick to watch out for, but he's got to beat out his dad in the 55 of Dan West Jr. And heard a little bit of strategies from the team as you see there, Kate Anderson, Devin West, a little bit of door banging on the entry of turn 1.
Down the back straightaway they roar as that's going to be the machine of Kaden Anderson and Devin West. And remember, Samuel, he talked about it. Now here's my thing. Was the gauntlet thrown down to make now these drivers race as possums? Because they know anything wrong, they have a chance of being penalized or not being able to race for a championship. So do you feel like maybe the reprimand shouldn't have taken place, and maybe it might have just been Kaden Anderson in frustration last Monday night?
Yeah, I mean, this past Monday night when Kaden was in the interviews and announced that he was going to be, you know, wrecking anyone that was a lap down that didn't really get out of his way, that was a little overblown. You know, we watched that race. We called it. We even were noting on the fact that the leaders, which that of Kaden Anderson was in second place, he was really a lot of the drivers were holding back the lap traffic, and Caden and Zides, felt like they weren't holding back. So honestly, it's a little bit of seeing the same picture, but people are seeing it differently. And gotta say, for that of Caden Anderson, yes, what he said might have been way too aggressive, a little bit overblown, but I think it's over for the whole entire league. Everyone needs to now understand, hey, if you're not racing for a championship and you're a lap down, try not to influence the race as much as you can. Try to get out of the way if possible, unless you're a car that's trying to stay on the lead lap and you're fighting to make sure stay on the lead lap. Otherwise, you're just going to be in the way, causing tempers that really shouldn't be there. As you see that of Dennis Moore is, E.G. Tidrick goes extremely wide and almost into the grass.
Lap 18 of 134. Right now, Kevin Smith is the man that is holding everybody at hostage, doing well, staying out in front, strong run. Of course, Dan West Jr., Son West of Devon behind him. Caden Anderson, Sean Breitzman, top 5. Double. Look at the scoring telemetry on the ticker, and it's the last lap speed turned 31.263 by the leader Kevin Smith. But obviously, Samuel, that's not the fastest one. It looks like a 31.240 is the fastest lap time turned by Devon West.
Yeah, by Devon West as well, being very closely by that of Caden Anderson. Both of those drivers running third and fourth, looking quick. And what's interesting to see on those last laps is we'll see another lap be put down for these drivers, but our top 4 staying pretty equal distance between one another. Not a lot of pressure from anybody here, and I think that's just a recognition of, hey, we're kind of letting this race just progress in a natural way. We'll wait until we get up to lap traffic. We'll see how this race goes, but also waiting to see what's going to happen once pit road and pit stops, and how busy everyone's going to be and who wants to come into pit road first. That's going to be the biggest question for these drivers, which we're looking to see. Looks like it's going to be about halfway through this race when drivers going to be aiming for coming into pit road. And you saw already a driver there just for a blink of a second. That's Scott Hutchinson in the 91. And we've seen Scott have struggles early on in races, and we'll see if he wants to get back going out there or if he's already going to be calling it a night.
Well, Samuel, your pick was Dan West Jr. He's sitting in the number 2 spot right now. There's that 55 machine, the driver is Shelton, Washington. My pick is Dennis Moore, and he is currently 8th on the racetrack right now. Just right now, comfortably in a nice position, the way it stands. I find it crazy, Samuel, Dennis Moore already won last week at, the race we covered from Chicagoland. I'm just saying, hey, man, he's my pick to win because he's carrying a lot of momentum. He's really improved as a driver. We mentioned the Beaver State clan and the Beaver State Samuel. He's one of those drivers that are definitely at the top of the list in what Dennis Moore's done in 44.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard from Stephen O'Hare and Tyler King throughout the season how much they praise Dennis Moore joining the team, helping that team as a whole. I mean, the beginning of the season, they were really a mid-tier group where you're just expecting a lot of top 10 finishes, top 15 finishes. And then Dennis Moore comes in, and the middle of the season, everything kind of changed. Their pitch strategies were a lot more aggressive on trying to stay out. Their long-run speed started to pick up the closer we got to playoff racing. And now starting to see those Beaver State drivers already seeing Dennis Moore. He's locked in, going to be racing for a championship and trying to get his other teammate, that of Tyler King, into the next round as we see Caden Anderson get loose out of turn number 2, trying to make sure he stays off that outside wall. But, I mean, Wesley, that team as a whole, it has been an amazing journey to watch them grow and get to a point where one of their drivers is racing for a championship next week. I mean, in 2 weeks, excuse me.
Yeah, 2 weeks, man. The penultimate race is tonight, but the penultimate race of the season is next week. Of course, that will be at Homestead Miami Speedway. And another word, Samuel, will come to that'll be whoever I'm working with in your absence for the ARCA series, and that is the precision banking that Homestead Miami Speedway always provides. We'll see it in ARCA on Monday, or on Friday. Then we'll see it next Monday and Wednesday. And again, I believe Homestead is not going to disappoint, Samuel, because that is the final opportunity. If you're going to be in the championship for the final race, you have got to rat of a hat and be there at the end.
Oh, absolutely. I think for Homestead, like you noted on progressive banking, that's where the drivers are going to have the most freedom on where they want to place themselves as we watch the battle currently for that of 9th place. Ryan Bloom going to be moving up another position. And, you know, for most of the drivers, progressive banking means they get to choose outside, inside. We're going to see both lanes be prevalent on different times of the runs that the drivers are in, on which lane is going to be the fastest. You know, early runs, the first 5 to 10 laps, going to be at the inside, and then later on, we'll see drivers move up, and then they'll move down again. It's going to be incredible to watch on Friday night, and as well for next week on when we see the Cup and Truck drivers hit Homestead to see who will be locked into their Final Four championship races. But Wesley, looking at the field currently, of our top 9 drivers, our top 8 all in the top 9.
Yeah, for sure. They're all doing really, really good, as all those guys are all in the cusp of doing well, needing to do what they got to do. And Samuel, we're missing we're missing some other guys that we're used to seeing, and of course, you know, Big Bird, Eric Cheney not here. A lot of frustration from him from the race the other week ago. Of course, also what happened with Anderson and BJ Duvall and a couple of other cars, and heard the frustration of a driver that was on the podium. And, you know, man, the heck with finishing third. Man, I want to win. And if there's anybody in my path, I'm going to move you out of the way because I'm fed up. That was just some of the frustrations that were given to us in the broadcast booth, as now here comes Dennis Moore trying to get around Tyler King for that spot, and that is for 6th position at start-finish line. He'll clear him. And Samuel, we're going to have to keep an eye on this. We know there's been some, gauntlets thrown down. We don't know if it's threats or promises or, just frustrations from the other night. But obviously, as it gets down to the end, and there's an opportunity for somebody or somebodies to go up to the front to try to win, they might see the impatience and the aggressive meter pick up.
Oh, absolutely. And it's going to be something to watch out for tonight, next week, and also for championship week. That championship week, all the bubbling aggression. I cannot wait to see which drivers make moves to try to win a championship and which drivers are going to be too patient. As behind, it's Dan Lather out of control,
oh, no.
but holds on and we stay green.
Dan Lather going around. They'll save it, as my colleague just reiterated on. No caution. We stay green.
A big scare for that 63 team, and it's only going to grow worse, Wesley, as we're about halfway through this stint from when we're expecting drivers to come into pit road. So still a lot of long racing, and when you slip and slide like we just saw the 63 do, those tires are going to get extremely worn down, and it's only going to build up more heat on your rear tires and cause the truck to get a lot more loose each and every lap building on. You got to really back off and wait to get back on the throttle to try to cool off those tires, which means you kind of have to throw away 5 to 6 laps of cooling off those tires and being patient before you can get aggressive once again, as battle for third, right back to where it was before. Caden Anderson trying to figure out how to get by this 5 machine.
Caden Anderson at 37. He's in the fourth spot right now after Devin West. Now, Samuel, the thing is this, and we asked the question to Devin West. We've asked it to obviously Lake Peterson as well in the Cup on Monday night. Hey, if you're winning and you know you've won, do you maybe try to give way? Do you maybe try to pull away and let somebody have the opportunity to have a chance to win? And we've heard some people say, I want to help my teammate. And then we've heard other people say, no, absolutely not. If I got a chance to win, whether I've won already, I'm going to keep on winning, because all I do is win, win, win. like the lyrics to a song.
Yeah, I mean, for most of these drivers that you see that do not have a color on their banner, their goals for most of them is to win no matter what. That is their ultimate goal. But it's kind of tough, Wesley, when, 7 of our playoff drivers are in the top 7, and it's only that of Stephen O'Hare from Beaver State Racing, who just missed out on becoming one of our drivers in the Elite 8. That's running currently in 8th place, trying to hold off that of Ryan Bloom. But, I mean, you get to the end of the season, and it's really the cream that starts to bubble to the top, and we're seeing it now. It has really been amazing to see these playoff drivers put themselves in scenarios to help get as many bonus points as possible. But at the same time, Wesley, you look at the drivers that need a lot of points. This is not good, having everyone this close to one another.
Smith is the man out in front. There you see Tyler King with Stephen O'Hare. They're battling. And Samuel, here's another thing we talked about, bud. We talked about it on Monday, and that was a 140-lap race. This race is 535 miles, 134 laps the distance. We might see only one pit stop, and it might be under green flag conditions.
Yeah, I mean, that is the big thing with these truck drivers, the fact that it's an open setup. Drivers are able to make these trucks as stable as they want, meaning all the times that we saw during the ARCA race and the Cup race where drivers were self-spinning by themselves that were bringing out yellows, it's most likely we're not going to see that. Yes, we've already seen 2 or 3 drivers get loose out of turn 2 and kind of throw their race away, as we are seeing the battle for that of 3rd place. Devin West, Kane Anderson really drove it deep into turn 3. Couldn't complete the pass, but he'll try once again here and hope to get a better launch out of turn 2. But we've only seen a handful of drivers really get extremely loose, but they've been off the racing surface, so no yellow gets thrown, and they're able to keep their truck straight, even with the slipping and sliding.
And while that goes on, we watch them working their way back around out of turn number 4, back to the front stretch. And look out behind you. 00. Here comes the double nickel. 0055 fighting for the lead. And also lap trucks in the way, Sammy D, in front of the lead pack as they work off of turn number 2.
Yeah, that's going to be Ray Foreigner. Is going to be in front of these drivers, and he's trying to just run high, but looks like it might have been a little bit of a miscommunication as Kevin Smith wasn't sure where really to place his truck and almost ran right over the 26. And here comes Dan West Jr. with a great run at turn 4.
Dan West Jr. to the inside, drifts up in front of Smith. Smith has to get up in the higher lane. He'll clear him. They play nice, off 2, down the back straightaway. New leader, and it is the driver for the 3rd different leader of the race. 2nd lead change, and that is the driver of Kevin Smith and Dan West Jr. back out in front again.
That was a beautiful pass, trying to use the lap driver as a pick, and it slowed down Kevin Smith just enough that he didn't get the launch that he wanted out of the corner, almost got into the outside wall. And now lap traffic staying high as the 55 cruising on through. But Wesley, this is right around the time that we're around that of lap traffic, and this is the worst time for Caden Anderson, who hates being around lap traffic because he doesn't know what they're going to do.
We missed Big Bird. We missed Toby Ritters, Clifford, our Big Red, number 23. He hasn't been able to run with us, but he has been tuning into the broadcast. And Samuel, he says, and I quote, hope you guys are having a great night. It's always awesome broadcast. Thank you. And in addition to that, he says, if Kevin Smith wins the race, I'll be giving him a virtual high five.
Virtual high fives, get yourself a sticker. It's always
salute.
Nice.
Yeah. They will be giving him the high five salute is what I was trying to add on as well.
Oh, absolutely. As another driver in the pit road, Aaron Cooper is going to be getting service done as we continue to watch the battling. I mean, we're starting to see drivers, coming in and out of pit road. We saw Scott Hutchinson get in. He has officially parked his 91 for the day. But Wesley, looking at our front runners, top four, all within about a second and a half of one another, keeping it close. But you look at the lap times, and it's all Dan West Jr., who's been the fastest truck on track and continues to just pull away from Kevin Smith as more drivers in the middle of the pack thinking about pit road.
Pit stops are underway. It's too early. We're seeing more. Dennis Morris pitting, Stephen O'Hare, Tyler King. All these guys are pitting early. Is that a strategy tactic, do you think?
Oh, absolutely. These drivers
Tyler
have
King
3 tires.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Tyler
O'Hare
King
overshot. King overshot just a little bit. Shouldn't be losing too much ground because they know that they're going to be getting these fresh tires, going to be gaining a lot of time on the drivers around them, as currently our leaders running about a second and a half slower than what their best time is. So even with that little bit of a blip, if you're able to really undercut the rest of these drivers, you should be all right to make it to the end. But Wesley, I don't think this is too soon, but it's certainly a different strategy than most. I think for most of our front runners, they're going to be trying to turn this race into a one-stop, while the Beaver State Racing crew, they're going to be going for a two-stop type of a night because they have the 3 sets of tires in pit road to work with.
And Samuel, we saw O'Hare, we saw King overshoot their pit stalls. You can't do that. You're for a championship. Any mistakes you need to make, you need to do at the beginning of the year, not when you're in the cusp of down to the final race of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's the big thing is for that of Tyler King. He's the one who cannot make a mistake, and he's going to be the 3rd Beaver State driver out back in 16th as we continue to watch and see the racing up front. The big thing for these drivers, though, is if the strategy works out, they need the race to go green. If a yellow comes out at this point, we're already seeing just only 11 drivers on the lead lap, and that's soon to be down to even less than that here in the next 5 to 6 laps with the pace that Dan West Jr. is putting down, and he's trying to catch up to 3:33 of James Vining, who had an issue on the first lap of this race. So there's still a lot of drivers that are hoping that they don't go a lap down, and if they do, they're banking on the fact that the no caution comes out so they can get back on the lead lap.
Want to send a shout out to a Purdue Boilermaker / Auburn Tiger fan tuning into the broadcast. That's Jackie Zen in Willow Spring, North Carolina, checking out the race coverage, of course, after the events here tonight. This race will determine the round of 4, championship 4, after next week at Homestead. West, Smith, Anderson, West, Brightsman, top 5. And Samuel, Dan West Jr. now, the man at the top of the point, but a half-second lead off turn number 4.
Yeah, the 55 of Dan West Jr. leading currently, and I'm getting a little bit concerned. This is looking oddly familiar to what we've seen these past 2 weeks for the 55 team, where he's up front, leading, dominating, but it's that money stop where it could cost the 55 a shot for a championship. I mean, a shot to win and lock himself into a championship. But now we got that of Kevin Smith as well as Kaden Anderson duking it out. And both kind of, Kaden Anderson in the first round of 12 for the playoffs missed the first race because of a suspension, then found himself getting a win and moving on to the round of 8. Well, Kevin Smith's got to do a very similar thing, but it wasn't a suspension on why he missed a race. He was on vacation, and Wesley, I got to say, for Kevin Smith, he's got to make sure he fights and stays in the second place position if he wants a shot to win here tonight.
That battle for second continues between Anderson and Smith. We are going to step aside for coverage from New Hampshire, LSRTV, for the audio coverage on the Community Radio Network. And we will be in a moment with Dan West Jr. still leading here.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland on the set of the Bull Ring on Speed 51 TV, but I also want to remind everybody that you can keep up with coverage of esports with the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League, S&B Cup Series, and so much more on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Of course, remember, you can watch it, and then you can listen to it on CRN, the community radio network at wearecrn.com. Check us out when you can.
Back here in New Hampshire, working lap number 57 completed of 134 laps. Dan West Jr. still the leader. Caden Anderson in second. Kevin Smith is third. Dan West Jr.'s son, Devin, winner here for Cup on Monday, is now in fourth. Ryan Bloom in the top five. Samuel Dyer, Wesley Outland, Rocket Media, LSRTV Productions crew here for coverage of round number 29 of the season. It is also around 30 of the season. It is also the final round of 8 event before the finale at Homestead to determine who will race for the championship 4. And Homestead will not disappoint so far, Samuel. Though we've been caution free, this right disappointed as Kevin Smith battles with Devin West. He gets into West. West gets into Smith. Devin West gets into Kevin Smith, and he goes around, and still no caution. There's the yellow flag. Are you kidding me? I was just saying that this race was staying caution-free, and then this happens between Devin West and Kevin Smith.
You had to jinx it, Wesley. As here's our first instant replay from Pulse Popper's instant replay. And we got to see it live, and it's just aggression being shown. Drivers on much older tires thinking they were, I think for that of Devin, trying to get back into the throttle, but when he did, that 5 drifted up, the 00 didn't. Contact was made on the exit turn 2.
Yellow flag is out. There you go. Well, let's look at the board with it. Oh, thank you. So much better. That's right on board with Devin West. Samuel, I don't think he meant to get into him. I don't feel it was intentional. I just feel like you're going off in the corner. Nobody's going to lift. I think maybe on him. They just kind of got into each other here.
Yeah, I mean, you can just hear the 5 was trying to roll, and I think, if anything, Devin was expecting Smith to get back into the throttle and start to drift up a little bit sooner. Both drivers looking for similar real estate, and there it goes. Yellow going to be thrown out, and this is going to be interesting because
Samuel, Sean Brightsman, Dan Lowther overshooting pit stalls again.
Yeah, I mean, for Sean Brightsman, it's been qualifying issues for most of this round of 8, and now going to be having issues in pit road that makes him fall back, and it is not the mistakes that you want to be making here at all. And as the drivers are getting set, getting back out on track, got to say, though, for those of the Beaver State Racing team, that of Dennis Moore and Stephen O'Hare, they decided to, again, pit early, back on lap 45, and they were able to get themselves back on the lead lap. Now they've got the track position, but Wesley, they're on 15-lap older tires. This is going to be a tough hold-off for the 44 and the 41. We're going to be up front.
Caution is out. We had completed most 6 before the first yellow coming out for that incident there between the drivers of Devin West and Kevin Smith fighting for position. Obviously, Samuel, it just seems like every time it starts to do really, really well, something happens. he gets some string of bad luck. And then it's like quicksand, if you will. You happen, and then here comes another, and then you're mired in the back. You're overshooting your pit stalls. You're making mistakes on pit road, off pit road. Caught up in the patch, as my friend Mr. Excitement Jimmy Spencer always used to call it. And next thing you know, you're caught up in an accident. It might take away your chance to race for a championship, much less a win.
Yeah, I mean, wintertime right around the corner, and I got to say, it's like a snowball also. Just keeps on piling. He keeps on rolling down the hill of just woes for this 00 team that started out the playoffs so strong with getting himself that win at the Indianapolis road course in the trucks. And there was a lot of hype after that win of, is Kevin Smith going to become, the Cinderella story of just coming through and winning a championship? Hey, there's still time, but it is going to be a lot of work for Kevin Smith to get back up front again. Going to be all the way back in 7th position, but up front, Wesley, those front two older tires, we'll see how well they can defend to everyone else behind.
72 laps to go is what I've been told when they come back to the Geico restart zone off Sylvania Lights turn number 4. Pace car will drop in. And here's another quick stat. 72 laps is that they can go on a tank of fuel and a set of tires as well. Green flag goes back in the air. We are about 4 laps away to halfway. The field sets them off into turn number 1. Dennis Moore, my pick, besides Aaron Cooper, to the lead in 40 straight and winner last week in Chicagoland.
Yeah, but right now he's going to have to try to defend both lanes. Stefan O'Hare doing a great job. Yes, he's on older tires by 15 laps, but did a great job for just a half a lap to hold off the 55. But there goes Dan West Jr., 55 team. Going to be trying to make the pass here into turn number 1, and it's going to be a pretty easy pass for himself. Again, Dennis Moore, as well as that of Stefan O'Hare, both kind of are just holding off as best as they can. And oh, the boy, already contacted the 41.
Stefan O'Hare, Devin West around him. So was also the Superflow machine of Tidrick, Kevin Smith. Samuel trying to get back to the front, and I mean that 00 is trying to get up there in a hurry.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of drivers that are recognizing, hey, we got to get aggressive. Cannot let Dan West Jr. just pull away. But at the same time, you're kind of being held up by drivers that are on older tires. And, oh, O'Hare into the wall.
Into the wall. He'll save it. Also, Lowther having a little check up there. Dan Lowther also. Oh, man. Hold on to it, my friends. Down the the front straightaway. And West, the man that is out in front. At one time, Devin West looked good. Dan West Jr. now up there. We have now Caden Anderson trying to run down Anderson. And by the way, Samuel, if I think about this, this was kind of what happened during the race on Monday in the Cup event.
Yeah, Cup event had a lot of early cautions that came out, and then we got a long green flag run for most of the end of that on the Cup race. And, it's one of those things where if you have a long green flag run at the beginning, usually that means at the end, everyone's recognizing it's time to go, and you start to build on a lot more cautions going forward. But goodness gracious, is BJ Tidrick doing a great job right now in this 72 machine. Up 14 positions from where he qualified today, and up to 3rd is BJ Tidrick.
And we are coming up on the halfway point of the race. So we're getting ready to bring you inside for the Tom Denchel Auto Group halfway mid-race report here on LSRTV, the Community Radio Network. I'm Wesley Outland. Down alongside is, of course, Samuel Dyer. And I'll tell you what, Samuel, hey, I'm wearing big red because I miss my buddy Toby Ritter. So that's why I'm wearing the big red shirt here tonight. I hope you're doing well, Toby. We'd love to have you back here as soon as we can. I think Samuel, didn't he computer issues or something? Computer crashed, and that's why we're not able to have our buddy Toby been joining us. But, hey, let's go to the race here. It's been fairly quiet. There's not been hardly any problems. There's been Good hard racing, mind you, if you will. Right now, just in between between Devin West and Kevin Smith, one little slip. And Samuel, it's been quiet. We heard our producer tell us in our ear they can go to the finish of this race on time. Do you think we're going to start to see some fireworks in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, there's a good shot at it because most of the drivers that came into pit road was back on lap 60, being 75 laps, so they're going to have to go. So that's 3 laps shy. So they're going to have to figure out how to save 3 laps of fuel. Drivers that topped off late, though, Tyler King as well as Sean Bridesman, they both decided to start further back of the field, topping off with fuel. So their goal, hope this race stays green so that they've saved just enough to make it to the end. But this first half, a lot of green racing. Got to see a lot of drivers showing how fast they can be. But at the same time, the racing on track now, you could tell we've got a really good shot of another yellow coming out here with the aggression level that continues to ramp up.
I think the impatience or the patience limit is going to be at a bare minimum here, probably with about 30 laps to go. Once we pass lap 100, I think all bets are off. It's time to bring it, send it to the front, do whatever you can to get whatever spot you can. And here, if we see guys like Devin West or even Dennis Moore win the race, you've got these other guys that are literally going to try to accumulate as many points possible to try to be ready for Homestead next week in the penultimate race and the final race to decide the championship 4.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing about here tonight. The drivers are throwing in a lot of different, Hail Mary passes, you could say, of trying to throw out everything that they can, even that of the kitchen sink at some points, trying to make sure that they've got some way of getting either a win or top 5 in points. The start of this race, you had our whole entire top 8 playoff drivers in the top 9. So there wasn't a lot of give and take for points wise to be earned. But we're starting to see with all different strategies that are being thrown out, we're now seeing, drivers can get and go can join and get some points to be earned as on track. Again, it is ramping up on where drivers going to lie.
Yeah, we're watching Smith and Tidrick go at it. By the way, you said, I thought you were about to say chicken. And that has been the Tom Dinchell mid-race report presented by Tom Dinchell Auto Group. Back to on-track action here at the Magic Mile at New Hampshire. And look at this battle. We've been watching it heatedly for the last short bit, Samuel. And that is Kevin Smith and Tidrick fighting for 4th down the back straightaway at the Magic Mile.
Yeah, and really this battle, this is important for that of Kevin Smith. He needs to make sure he's up front just in case another yellow comes out. He wants to make sure he's not a part of that yellow, but he needs to have that track position just in case, anything happens. If a yellow comes out, he's got the best track position for himself to be aggressive here late. But at this point, for Kevin Smith, he's a little bit too far back for my liking, especially in the fact that it seems like on the extreme long run, the final 20 laps of a stint, you start to see the 00 fade back. So he's got to find a lot of speed early on, but we're starting to already see the limit of Kevin Smith's speed, and right now stalling out in 4th position.
And understanding that also fading from Dan West Jr. is Anderson. Anderson losing some of that grip. Dan West Jr. Dan West Jr. strong car, but Anderson obviously, Samuel, he needs to. He's trying to run like he got a good run here, but here's the thing though, Sammy D. We mentioned Kevin Smith. We mentioned him being on vacation. You mentioned doing what he needs to do to try to be able to race here in the final round of the championship 4. Let's recap what Caden Anderson did. Caden got in a little boo-boo at the start of the playoffs before the end of the season. He got penalized the opening race of the playoffs at Indianapolis and suspended. Had to turn around, win the race to advance to this round of the playoffs. He's at Samuel, and also he's literally could possibly get in on points as one of these drivers just on the outside looking in. But if he gets a win, He's racing for the championship in the Truck Series.
Yeah, I mean, Caden Anderson, coming into, like you said, on the playoffs, you could say a boo-boo, but he was penalized multiple times this season
Boo-boo.
because of being kind of, a lot of making and causing wrecks to happen on purpose. And as a team with himself and Cole Raz, there's been a lot of shrouded, controversy over them coming through this whole entire season. So, yes, it's been great to see him, come through, be able to get the win, make it to the, top 8. If you kind of smudge over the fact that the reason he's penalized was because he was trying to cheat, it looks like a great story. But that's been the big thing for this 37 is that they've been caught cheating, and now everyone around the 37 isn't really giving him any type of give. It has been the hardest battle each and every race, and that's why Caden Anderson was kind of frustrated Monday by, him being frustrated with lap cars. It's because no one really is giving him any space except for his teammates.
That's right. And the second half of the race settling up. Hey, and Samuel, we talked with drivers that are teammates, and they win. I want to help my other guy. I want to help my other driver get a chance to be able to try to race, to get a win or race for a chance. And obviously, Samuel, the same can be said about father and son, West family as well.
Oh, absolutely. As there's Aaron Cooper, our producer's pick for Wesley.
It's not.
Oh, yellow.
Caution's out. It's probably Aaron Cooper. No, it's not. Sorry. It's a wreck over there. Is it Roy Grande? Hey, remember, tomorrow, go to Taco Bell. Still a base, still a taco. And Samuel, the Braves win the World Series last night. That was cool as well.
It really was, as there's multiple reasons that we're looking through. I know there was talks that the incident could have been BJ Tidrick, and also Ryan Bloom could have been one of the incidents, as we're taking a look here at could have been multiple incidents at the same time that we didn't know that caused the wrecks here, Wesley. Well, there's the smoke, and there's, yep,
Was out.
it was Bloom and Tidrick's incident that brought out the yellow.
Oh, no. I think no. Pink Superflow colors of the number 72. Samuel, what movie is that popular for?
Superflow? Ooh. You got me stumped.
It was the Superflow, if you remember, that was the Days of Thunder rap job that Cole Trickle had after he won, played by Tom Cruise, obviously, after he won his first NASCAR race at Darlington. They switched up to Superflow. We got ourselves a sponsor! And then, of course, the big wreck at Daytona. And that car was the one that was destroyed, the Superflow machine. Look at the pit. They're pitting. The heck with the 72-lap scenario. They're all down there, the whole cavalry. Here comes my favorite camera. Yes. Who won? That's the question. But no, Samuel, Superflow, that was from the movie Days of Thunder. Kevin Smith did not pit. That's what we were told. Cooper. Holy smokes, there's my producer, my pick. Hashtag fake news. But he's in the lead. He's in the lead right now, Samuel. Never mind. Now, false hope.
Maybe
no
he
hope.
had
He's
two
a lap
laps
down.
on top of
He's
himself.
a lap down. Yeah. Aaron Cooper's a lap down. Maybe one day I'll pick the gold one, Aaron Cooper, to win. No, listen, we appreciate all those guys. We appreciate every one of them. And I always say that for whether it's a Dan West or an Aaron Cooper, honestly, Samuel, even if you're in the back, we appreciate all of them, and they all make this so much fun. They make it, honestly, a fun thing to see and check out. And I'll be honest with you, Samuel, we literally follow these guys so much. And I was telling somebody about this at a basketball college game I did this afternoon. And I was telling them about iRacing. They're like, oh, wow, you're doing the basketball? Oh, you got an iRacing? And I told them, this is like a story. We are telling a story. It's chapter after chapter, track after track. And we're the climax of the chapter to find out who is going to be the champion. And these chapters are these drivers, and these drivers are the stories. And we are just the narrators, Samuel, that get to tell it week in and week out.
Yeah, it's always incredible to get to see, especially, the growth of each and every driver from the start of the season to the end. I mean, Kevin Smith's one of those drivers for sure that we always have to bring up, and the same for that of Dennis Moore, both drivers that came through the development series on Friday nights in the ARCA series and now are succeeding. And for Dennis Moore, he's going to be battling for a championship in this Cups and the Truck Series. And for Kevin Smith, he's got a very slim shot, but he might be even battling for a championship in the Truck Series.
Lights are off on the pace car. By the way, if you're looking to get into producing, message us on Facebook or at LSRTV at livesimracing.com. Also announcing Kevin Smith, Dan West Jr. alongside Kevin Smith in the red with a green flag left to go here at New Hampshire. Let's do a couple of flyby shot cameras. I love them when they come speeding off the corner. Look at this. It's not a game, Samuel Dyer. It's a simulation.
Yeah, I mean, iRacing is incredible, the simulator that we have here. It allows so many different vehicles, so many different tracks and crafts to be, shown on the virtual side of things. And it is incredible to see how a simulator can just breathe life in us in the online world, and also just how realistic it can be in 4K Ultra HD here on LSRTV.
And of course, also aerial coverage for tonight's race is brought to you by LSR TV.
Whoa!
If you're sitting, oh, Tendrick getting sideways. Caution's out, third time. Wow.
And that was
Weren't
actually the
expecting
second. That was the second spin. We didn't catch the first one. The first one was that of Stephen O'Hare that actually got loose out of 4, but this is going to be what brings out the yellow. BJ Tidrick, everyone's recognizing they've got to get going now. And even on these early restarts, those tires are cold. They're trying to build up the heat so they can get more grip onto the racing surface. But if you get back on the throttle too soon, Wesley, this is exactly what happens.
Inside. Wow, look at Dan Lowther weaseling through there. And Tidrick spinning down below the bottom of the apron. We're also understanding Stephen O'Hare in the 41 had some problems. Here's his replay. You saw what happened to the number 72, Superflow. Now the 41. Stephen O'Hare, Talladega winner. Where did he go wrong? And look who's around him, Jeff Stab now. Shades of what happened to Tidrick on the other side. He spins into the pit lane entrance. No penalty for speeding on pit road. He never made it past the cones.
Yeah, and that was before the yellow even came out. That was the incident that I was kind of gave the first initial oh, and then boom, we saw that of BJ Tidrick going around and bringing out our yellow.
We are going to go to another commercial break since we're under caution. It's going to get good, and we're going to have you to the finish, to the checkered flag. When we return, West Truck Series playoffs, New Hampshire, LSR TV, and the Community Radio Network. Back in a moment.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland on the set of the Bull Ring on Speed 51 TV, but I also want to remind everybody that you can keep up with coverage of esports with the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League, S&B Cup Series, and so much more on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Of course, remember, you can watch it, and then you can listen to it on CRN, the community radio network at wearecrn.com. Check us out when you can.
Back here in New Hampshire. And boy, oh boy, it is getting good. We're closing in on lap 100. I'll tell you what, Samuel, I said around lap it was going to start to get intense. I think it's become that way already, even before we hit lap 90. This drivers have really become aggressive. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where drivers pick and choose what they want. Do you want a long green flag run at the start of the race or in the later half of the race? One of those sides, there's going to have a lot of cautions, and these drivers have picked the second half of tonight's race to have a lot of cautions. But watch out for the 00 on older tires. How will he respond here on this restart?
"33-lap tires on some versus tires on 9-lap old tires for others." Green flag back in the air. Back to it again. Dan West Jr. Father, son Devin West. Winter Monday right behind him. 1 and 2. West Racing. Caden Anderson third.
You saw that of Kevin Smith into turn number 3, just dive bombing it, trying to hold as much speed as he can. But Sean Breisman at turn 4 almost getting into the wall following the 00.
And about got into Dan Lowther as well. This track, Kevin Smith. And you remember Samuel Monday, Kevin Smith had something similar happen to him right there. He was battling along.
Whoa!
We got one spinning. Sean Breisman, hold on. Sean! Spinning to the bottom. Shit is out. Oh my goodness. Caution is out again for Sean Breisman. The Brights Boutique entry looked like he became a drifting stunt car, if you will, instead of a race car. Caution out.
Well, if you didn't know that there's a road course on that of New Hampshire, you just learned as we ride on board with the 46. Trying to get aggressive. Watch the wheel here on this. He gets way too loose, tries to hold on, gets back into the throttle, and then tries to avoid Smith, who gets into the wall. And luckily, Wesley, there's a road course. He's able to spin out and not just glide on the grass.
Did he have some help? That's the question. We're going to go back and look at it again. Did he have help?
He was trying to avoid Smith, it looked like.
Because
you're going to see
a little punt when they shouldn't have.
Yeah, I mean, watch that of Kevin Smith here on this replay. You're going to see get out of the corner. It's on the back stretch. It looks like he gets into the wall completely. You see him scrub the wall, and then Sean Breisman has to avoid. And that's what gets him out of control. That quick reaction to try to not hit the 00 gets him loose, out of control, and luckily found a place to settle down.
And obviously, you have the father-son team right there around each other as well. Still a lot of, still more racing left to go. Obviously, Samuel, I mean, it's far from over. They still got a lot to do.
Yeah, and what's been interesting to watch is how the drivers are choosing when they want to use their final set of tires. A lot of the drivers still having one set left, They're trying to make sure when they use that final set, that will be the final caution, or at least the last attempt that they need to use that final set of tires.
For more information on how to start your iRacing career, log on to iRacing.com. Game, it's a simulation, and the simulation becomes an adventure. And of course, our coverage is always on your home for sim racing at LSRTV, livesimracingtv.com. I'm Wesley Outland. Samuel Dyer is alongside. We're about to put triple digits on the board. And speaking of triple digits, as we work lap 100, we want to mention on the Community Radio Network, we hope you enjoyed coverage of Division II college basketball as the Johnston Jaguars defeated the Blue Lights Thoroughbreds of Apex 100-87. Just kind of a plug there, 187, the score. Coverage college basketball on Saturday, as we have a doubleheader for you, which includes Wake Tech taking on the Johnston Jaguars women's college basketball season opener, and the men go for 3-0 for the hat trick of the season. And of course, that will be against Lenoir College out of Concord. Coverage beginning at 1:30 on Saturday on the Community Radio Network. And on Friday, the first round of the state football championship playoffs in high school. Clayton will travel and take on the Heritage Huskies. Coverage will begin at 6 p.m. Eastern with the new High Q Energy Drink pregame kickoff with myself on the play-by-play call. Samuel will also have ARCA and their final race to lock in the championship for on Friday night right here from Homestead. And then, of course, next Monday and Wednesday, the Cup and Truck of the Northwest will be at Homestead. Of course, coverage for those, LSRTV and the Community Radio Network. Pace car is in, ready to go for 34 laps. Inside lane will jump. Dan West Jr. gone. As they say in the dirt world, Samuel, he'll send it off into turn number 1.
And he is already going to be up to a 1-2 truck car length, but immediately his son, Devin West, is going to be getting right on the back bumper. And this is exactly where they wanted to be, as you see that of Troy Daggett out of sorts. But for Devin West, he noted on this at the start of the week before racing in the Cup Series. He just wants to make sure that he's ahead of all the other drivers and make sure that one of his teammates, either Sean Bridesman or his dad of Dan West Jr. is ahead of him, and he's going to do everything he can to hold off the drivers behind.
33 laps to go, and you want to talk about a pressure cooker. They are ready to go now. The impatience are gone.
Oh.
Trouble. Then now what I'm talking about. Trucks bouncing off the wall. Scott Hutchinson. Frank Harris, you're going the wrong way. Spins below the apron. Caution out again, and I believe this is for the 6th time. We had a massive green flag run right before halfway, Samuel, and since then it has been green, caution, like red light, green light. It just won't stop.
And in the middle of all of this, Kevin Smith going to be trying to figure out how to get by, and you see that if Ray Forner is going to be on the outside. They're going to be 3 wide through turns 1 and 2, and just gets pinched, and there they go.
Wow.
I mean, all 3 drivers trying to go to the same spot. That is not going to work out. The 11 gets the worst of it there.
And Samuel, I will say this time, my friend, how about the work of Kevin Smith to back off, to get away from the craziness?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where I don't even think he meant to back off. He just got pinched and squeezed backwards, if anything. The double zero really is one of those scary moments because you're running 3 wide. You're hoping you're going to be all right, and both drivers just come together while you're just running your lane.
And by the way, I believe I said that was the machine of Scott Hutchinson. He's already several laps down. That was actually the 26 of Ray Fournier. Ray Fournier in the 26 truck. And Samuel, obviously, bud, man, Ray has had a dismal season. The biggest thing was him was, and you covered it with Greg and myself as well, whenever we had the dash races at Daytona, which I'm sure it's probably going to be the same type of setup again to set the lineup. Of course, there was qualifying. The qualifying was then set up with dash races, those duels. the duels lined up, the lineup for the Daytona opener. And man, I'll tell you, I know we're coming to the end of this season, but I know around February or March in 2022, we'll crank it up again. And I'm sure they'll go through that same type of format, if you will. And that's the biggest highlight of the season for the 26, Ray Fournier, a winner of one of the dash races in the season.
Yeah, you were wondering, hey, when's going to be the best shot for Aaron Cooper to get a win? I mean, super speedway racing, everyone's got a shot. You see it in real life NASCAR, where so many teams that were honestly, you put them at other courses, you never think of them getting a win, come out of nowhere and are able to get victories done. So a new season, new start, who knows what's going to come out for these drivers, but finish out this season, Wesley, I mean, we're looking at drivers that are trying to become back-to-back champs. Dan West Jr., opportunity to possibly lock himself in and have a shot to win another truck championship. But points-wise, still looking good. Third in points, highest of the drivers that could point their way in. But for the 55 team, he wants to win to make sure that he is locked into the championship for sure.
Point exactly. Think of Bubba Wallace, Darrell Wallace Jr. when he won Talladega. No one would have thought he was going to win the Yellowwood 500, and that was an upset. A lot of speculation and comments on it, but a win's a win. And, of course, it was also the first career win for 2311 Racing with the driver of the car owners, of Denny Hamlin as well as Michael Jordan backing that. And, of course, we had Keegan Leahy on last week on Finish Line, driving for 2311 Racing as the NASCAR, Coca-Cola iRacing Series champion. All right, we're going to come back to the restart. Samuel, do you think this is just the start of the climax of bumping, banging, gouging, fighting for position, or can we see these guys try to settle in for at least a stretch to the checker flag?
I don't see us staying green. I wouldn't be surprised if we find ourselves another 3 more cautions or so.
Pace car comes in the pit lane, back to the Geico restart zone is Dan West Jr. Green flag as he flies past the Lennox start-finish line at New Hampshire. All of that is real. The graphics, the literature, all of the insignia is just like going to the real place, the home of some great lobster as well. We got trouble. Kevin Smith around. Dan Lowther this time caught up in it. And the 51, I believe, also there. Amsoil. Troy Daggett. Caution. Oh, man.
Yeah, luckily, Dan Lowther not involved in this one, Wesley. It looked like it was they're similar colors. It was Troy Daggett.
Yeah. It's Troy Daggett. It's Troy Daggett. Watch this. Troy Daggett and Kevin Smith. He just kind of sent it in there, a little aggressive. And Anderson's in there, and no. Anderson in the grass.
Anderson almost got clipped there by Kevin Smith when they got spun around, but did not hit the 37. But if anything, Troy Daggett, I mean, that is just over-aggressive driving from a driver that's been just trying to get a top 10 finish and runs over a driver as you're going to get an onboard capture from Caden Anderson's point of view. But look at the 51 ahead. Look at how deep he drives into this corner and just practically almost door slams the 00. And when you got playoff drivers that are racing for everything, you don't want to be caught up in a wreck like that.
A lot of anger in their life. Watch Anderson racing back on the track as another angle. There's Anderson. Samuel, how damaged do you think his truck got? He drove through the weeds there. Of course, what I mean by the weeds is through the apron into the infield grass, and that might, mess up the grill, mess up the front a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's very minimal damage that happens when you drive through the grass. Luckily here on the virtual side of things, if this was, in real life, drove through the grass like that, that whole entire truck would be ripped apart. But on the virtual side of things,
would be airborne.
Internally, not too much damage should be used to this 37. But the biggest thing for Caden Anderson, He's got some of the freshest tires out here. He's got about 20 lap fresher tires than the front 6. So Caden Anderson at 37, we've seen him be aggressive before. We'll see how aggressive he wants to be here on this restart and cutting his way, carving his way to get up front. But the rest of the field just trying to get repaired. And for Kevin Smith, waited all race to finally use his fast repair. So the 00 gets any more damage, could see his chances of winning here tonight snuffed out.
All right, we're ready to see this happen again. As Samuel used the word snuffed out. Yeah, 25 laps to go. Who's going to not getting snuffed out and being able to race towards the checkered flag? Should be a fun one. Don't forget, ARCA, I'll be here Friday night. Samuel, I don't know where you are. Are you just taking off? Are you going to parts unknown?
Well, who knows where I'm going to be? I mean, I'm always backup, but I think we're going to let all the new guys and letting everyone get a taste of what the new commentators are joining LSRTV, what they're, how they sound, and how they're going to be adding to the LSRTV family.
Yes. And I know me and you will work the final. They got to have us work the final race. Maybe bring in a third person. I didn't kick Samuel out. I did not. Why you put words
Wesley,
in my
how
mouth,
could you?
producer?
How could you do that to me?
I did not. I never said anything. Ugh. I would not agree to rotate. I stayed out a week last week, and then I was available, and I still got stayed out. What's my analogy I always use when somebody gets penalized? I sat in my room on my carpet square with my little carton of milk and pouted while somebody else called the race in my absence. No, it was all good. We got to let these new guys. Carpet square. Green flag back out. 22 laps to go here at New Hampshire, the Magic Mile. Down to the stretch, and here we go with Anderson. I'm sorry, that's not, oh man, there's Dennis Moore. Dennis Moore with Lowther up on the outside. And how about this, Samuel? Jeff Stabnow doing good. He's patiently climbing with five in the top 5.
Well, you jinxed us when we were under green flag racing. Who knows what's going to happen to Jeff Stabnow now as we are seeing these guys racing. And, you know, a driver that's on the move, needing to get points and honestly needs a top 3 finish. Tyler King up to 6th, trying to get by that Jeff Stabnow as well. Dennis Moore trying to carve the way for his teammate and doing a great job kind of being a spear and just making sure, hey, follow me. I'll take you to up front there, Tyler King, as Dennis Moore now moved up to 4th position, and Tyler King up to 5th.
Rear end to rear end, tailgate to tailgate, down the back straightaway to the front stretch again. They roar with Brightsman with Stabnow side by side now. This is for 6th and 7th. Here comes Anderson getting in that as well. He also tries to run down the driver of Tyler King. Look at these guys bumping, a little antsy, a little patience needed. 20 to go this time by when they come to the line. Samuel, get ready to Katie bar the door.
Teammates, that is Sean Brightsman, Jeff Stabnow, a little aggressive on one another, trying to help each other out with a little bit of a bum trap, but I think if anything, might have hurt Jeff Stabnow the most. But Caden Anderson, the 37, watch out. He's got some fresh tires, freshest of those that are up front by about 20 laps. So the 37 is going to be quick, but he's got to be patient here. He's got 2 drivers side by side, and oh boy, Kevin Smith once again off course.
Oh, below the apron, jumping the infield grass down below the back straightaway, and he loses all that ground. Samuel, there's no doubt about it now as we see Brightsman and King battle for position in the top 5. Kevin Smith is now desperate. You're seeing desperate racing by Kevin Smith. Either that or he's lost the darn handling on that truck out of nowhere in the 00. But it seems to me, Samuel, it's the impatience. He needs to get to the front and get to the front now as there are 3 wide with Anderson below the apron. Brightsman, the hot dog.
Oh, no!
He spins! Brightsman spins! Stabnow gets through. Tendrick's in the fence. And the caution is out. Oh, no.
Well, you
Oh, man.
touched on patience. Caden Anderson got aggressive and trying to overpower with his fresh tires, and we're going to see the 3 wide battling going into the corner, and watch the 37. He gets a great run here on the back stretch, tries to utilize a little bit of the draft and ducks it low, and they're already beating and banging for that position of Tyler King and Sean Bridesman, but it's right here. Gets onto the apron, and Caden Anderson, even with fresh tires, not going to be able to hold off, comes up, takes out Bridesman, and the rest they go.
Tidrick in the fence. Stab now, I think, Samuel. Cross your fingers. Able to get away. If anything, maybe some cosmetic damage on the left rear of the back door of the 24, if anything.
And as we're checking out this replay from another view, want to also look at our top ticker, 17 laps to go. This is one of the last times for a lot of these drivers coming in to use tires, and want to give a note, it looks like all of Beaver State Racing coming in, getting 4 sets of tires, as well as Sean Bridesman coming in to get repairs, and also will be thinking about using his final set of tires here. They're going to have to start all the way back in 16th, 17th, 18th position. We'll see how well they can get up front, because it's going to be a lot of work, especially with the amount of laps are left. There might not be enough laps left to try to catch up to that of Dan West Jr. and Devin West, who we'll see how aggressive they want to try to fend off that of Caden Anderson, who's now up to 4th.
So my question is this, Samuel. Anderson to Bridesman, intentional or not?
I mean, I don't see it as an intentional wreck. I mean, he got down. He was trying to hold his inside line, but that's almost an impossibility, especially with how shallow he was on the entry, being that inside vehicle. He needed to let the 37 kind of coast a little bit more before getting back into the throttle, drifted up, and that's just hard racing at that point. I don't think it was intentional to take and dump him, but it was a wreck that happened off the nose of the 37, and you know he was racing aggressive there with that type of a move.
In a very nice way, not an intentional move, but definitely if you had to go back to redo it again, you might have possibly think things over. Definitely, I caught that, Samuel. 15 laps to go, and this race is down to the home stretch, and I don't think it's far from over yet. This one is obviously, Sam, nothing like the Cup race we saw on Monday, for sure. And we always say that it always ends up being different.
Yeah, I mean, all 3 series. I mean, the development series and the ARCA cars, we see a lot of green flag racing most of the time there. Cup is aggressive early on in the race, and then they start to clean it up later on. But here in the trucks, this is always the wild card. I never know what we're going to find at the trucks race, because there's some nights where it's green all the way, and we go from green to the checkers, and other races we get this, where it is a madhouse in the final half of the race.
So father and son on the front row, the West family. Of course, you have Dan Lowther, and I'm so impressed with Dan Lowther. What a good run for him in 3rd. Caden Anderson in 4th. Jeff Stab now in the top 5. Way to go for the Billings, Montana native. James Vining, who was spun, that brought out not a caution, but he was the first spinner of the race, is back in the top 10 as well. We got green flag in the air. We got 14 laps to go, and they'll send it off with West, Anderson, Lowther to 3rd. Anderson battles on the outside out of 2.
Woo, Jeff Stab now getting aggressive in the 24. Want to get inside the top 5, but now it is the duel. The West family between Caden Anderson and those fresh tires. Caden Anderson, 20-lap fresher tires than the 2 that are up front. This 37 in 3rd place, and he's going to be coming with a lot of speed here for these next couple of laps. It's going to be a lot of work, but Devin West, he's going to be the first barrier to try to slow down 37.
13 laps to go. Top 5 sound like a law firm with West, Anderson, Lowther, and Stab now. 1 up in the fence off of 2. That's Ryan Bloom. Ryan Bloom in the wall in 25. He'll fall back. He loses ground. For now, everyone bypasses him, but no caution there in 3.
Remember, Ryan Bloom is that bubble driver coming into the points, 4th in points here tonight. And honestly, he cannot have this type of a night. He's going to be losing a lot of points and could be outside of the top 4 going into next week.
Turn 4 to the back straightaway, and they're 3 wide again. Down the back straightaway, contact. Frank Harris, Kevin Smith, Dennis Moore, Tyler King, Sean Brightsman. Somebody lift. They all do. Boy, that was just the ingredients of trouble coming off of turn number 2 to turn 4, and we got 12 laps to go, and they crossed the line, now 11 to go.
Yeah, and they need to get in line and start working together, because right now, staying side by side is just gifting your top 4 to pull away. And none of these drivers back here that are side by side, they're just racing for themselves. Contact, there goes
Smith in the wall. Smith in the wall, Harris off the pace, still no caution. Man, oh man.
And again, Smith already used his fast repair, so that damage, it is going to stay with him until the end of the race. That is the worst timing. 11 laps to go, and pancakes that right side into the outside wall.
He was in about a 3-second shot of being where the leaders are. Now he's fell all the way back to 10 seconds, 4 seconds back to the last place or next to last place truck. We got trouble. One going upside down. That's BJ Tendrick into Dennis Moore. Caution is out. Trouble on the back straightaway. And it was Tendrick flying through the air in the super flow. Unison to what happened to that car in the movie Days of Thunder. It happened to the truck tonight at New Hampshire with under 10 remaining.
Here's your Pulse Poppers instant replay. And we're that flip, we saw it on the backstretch on the apron. There's that jump that keeps on launching trucks up in the air if you get too low. That's going to be similar to what happened here on this wreck as BJ Tendrick just gets into Dennis Moore, and they both make contact, and 72 goes flipping. And that's what brings out our yellow here. And Wesley, with the timing of this yellow, it's going to be about 5 laps to go when we go green again.
Do you pit? They gave my answer.
I think for all the drivers that are further back, yes. For that of, Kevin Smith, Dennis Moore, drivers that have been involved in the most recent incidents, they're going to come in, get repairs done, and hope they can get enough repairs to try to be at least somewhat competitive. For Dennis Moore, he's already won, doesn't really need to worry about this race. It's a shame that he got collected in that wreck, but his goal is to try to help his teammates out, which right now they're running 7th and 8th position. But for Smith, he's kind of done a little bit too much. He's tried to do everything this race, and it's put him in a spot where he's heavily damaged, has to try to get these repairs done. He's going to be underpowered, not able to really compete with everyone else, and I don't believe the 00 has an extra set of tires to work with, so he's got to reset, go all the way back to 18th position. But Wesley up front, 20 laps is the difference of tires between first and second to third place of Caden Anderson. Dan and Devin West both have to figure out how to hold off the 37. And also, the driver that's leading with some of the freshest tires back in 6th place is James Vinian in the 333, and also Tyler King in the 21.
Like father, like son, like mother, like daughter. And the West family are the ones up in front right now. The defending Truck Series champion of last year from Shelton, Washington. The driver that's in the #1 seed. Winner also on Monday night in the Cup Series. Samuel, do you think he's using whatever package? I know there's the limitations on things, but would you just say it's impressive to see Devin West be in the front like he was when he won the Cup race on Monday night, or is it unusual?
No, this is exactly what we were expecting to see. He had the chance to try to sweep all 3 series, but now he's in a shot to try to help a teammate out, get into the championship 4. They got to remember, Devin West never made it into the playoffs because he didn't make enough starts. So, he is in the championship. I was thinking for the Cup cars for a second there. We're in the wrong series, but for these truck drivers, Devin West is already locked in. So his goal, help his teammate out, get in the championship 4. So you've got the most of, West Racing and LSRTV Racing, as that's a partnership and an ally group that's come together and trying to get as many of those drivers into the Final 4 as possible.
That's a partnership of a half and half, kind of like Hendrick and Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson fighting for the NASCAR Championship 4 at Phoenix, half the Final Four from the same organization. Well, you can see the same happen right now if West Racing's Devin West's son helps out father Dan West Jr., gives him the win. But also, as the lights are off on the pace car, Samuel, Devin West has a chance to make history. Obviously, his dad can do well. He can finish second, get points, climbing. Win gets him in the championship 4, yes. But Devin West is also a chance to win ARCA, Cup, Truck. I don't think it's ever been done in the history of the Northwest iRacing Series. We're back to green, and it is 5 laps to go. Handful of laps shown to the field, and it is Barney the iRacing flagman showing those fingers as they roar to turn 1, and Dan West Jr. back out in the front in the saddle again off 2.
That is a major advantage that just happened. Dan and Devin West able to clear Caden Anderson. Anderson stuck side by side for third, with Dan Lather now going to be powering on the outside, trying to make the pass on the 37. But Tyler King, he's making a move, but oh boy, Stab now gets loose, almost wrecking in front of everyone in the back half of the field.
Back straight away. We got him wrecking in the back. That is, James Vining. He got turned. And the yellow is out. We're going to overtime at New Hampshire. The Magic Mile prepares for extra innings.
As we take a look at our Pulse Poppers instant replay, Pulse Poppers getting their money's worth here tonight as the 333 on the outside. You're going to see Jeff Stab now get here loose. He's got to get out of shape, going to make everyone else slow down for a quick second. And contact for the 333 into the 21, as well as into Stephen O'Hare. That's what finishes off the 33.
James Vining, then to add insult, backs the right rear into the concrete as he was turning to come back down to the pit lane. Oh boy, overtime. Well, Samuel, could we say that this is the ingredient?
I would say so. I think there's some good ingredients here that we're going to see another good big wreck that could put us into our a possible second attempt if needed. We're still waiting for for us to officially be given overtime, which this lap should give it to us, and we are now officially into overtime. And Wesley, we learned about this back, at Gateway for the Cup Series. There's only 2 attempts. We now know that for a fact. There are only 2 attempts in overtime. So we know this now. We learned from the rule book. We messed up for that race, but we got it this time.
Me and you together, literally just me and you together just sat there and we went off the air and the race got called and we were like, well, folks, there was not going to be a restart. The race is over. And for sure, we went back and said, Samuel, let's read the rule book. And we did read the rule book. I even checked with one of the officials just to say, are you sure that we don't go with it? Yeah. So 2 attempts, just like NASCAR. Leader takes the green, caution before they come for the white. They reset and go again. Second time, wreckers or checkers. If they take the white flag and then the caution comes out, race is official. If on a second attempt they take the green, caution comes out, then if they have taken the white and we get a yellow, or if the caution comes out on the second attempt, the field is frozen at the time of caution at the most recent scoring loop, and the finish of the race is based on that. In my opinion, Samuel, if it was my rule book, my series, I'd do unlimited attempts. But obviously, unlimited attempts in the real deal is different than iRacing. So, yeah. People have said, well, if you do that, Wesley, we'll be here all night long like Lionel Richie. And
well, if anything, if we go into that, Wesley, there are time limits to these race sessions. And so if we have a caution every single time we go green, right when the green flag comes out, then we would run out of time. So if we did have unlimited, we most likely would run out of time to even finish this race.
I don't know, Samuel, if it was with you or Greg Rentz or someone else, but we had an incident, Derek Fulton, I think it was, last year we had a race, and it was Martinsville, and it drug out, and it drug out, and it drug out. And they got so fed up, they stopped the cars in the back straightaway and said, guys, race is over. We're like, what? Yeah, the race is over. They called it. So, yeah.
Hey, you and Derek Fulton had you guys always had running out of time, or drivers just quit on you. Because I was just rewatching a race, back for the main sim racing series. Those guys, they didn't count caution laps, and they actually ran out of time. So luckily we do count caution laps over here.
The lights are off on the pace car. Overtime attempt 1 coming up. But I will say this, Samuel, and our viewers, if you ever get a chance to go back, and NASRA's coming back on November 15th for the Winter Series for the Sim 500 League. And then they're also doing a truck series. I think it starts on Friday. And NASRA is back in full-time in February of 2022. But go back to NASRA and the Outlaw Super Late Model Series, and go back to the inaugural exhibition race at Daytona. Super Late Models on Daytona iRacing. Crazy finish. I'll never forget that 50-lap sprint. Green flag in the air. Overtime. We're ready. Dan Lowther into Anderson. They hold it together with Brightsman on the bottom. They come out of turn number 2.
Of the drivers that are in the top 5, it's Sean Brightsman with the freshest of tires, but the 46 got a lot of work, as he's got to be on the outside trying to make the power moves, but it's going to be Dan West Jr. and Devin West still holding 1 and 2. Kane Anderson not able to make the pass.
CRN 1 to go.
Yellow!
West 1. Caution, we are not done. Yellow is out. Attempt number 2 coming up. They're wrecking. It's James Vining. And I believe the 72, all beaten, battered, banged, bruised, and bandaged of BJ Tidrick. And overtime 2 is next.
Oh my goodness. As they were 3 wide at different times here.
Oh my goodness. So Samuel, even though the leader took the white flag, the top 10 in scoring have to cross the scoring loop, and they're wrecking in the back. And it was more than just Vining and Tidrick. There was a big calamity. Frank Harris involved. Aaron Cooper involved. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was a madhouse of drivers trying to make sure that they were up front, trying to gain every position that they can. And so you got Smith as well as you got Dennis Moore. They're going to be trying everything that they can up front, but it's the drivers just trying to get back into the throttle out of the exit of turn 4. And, this is when things get dangerous. Drivers, some of them have already used their final set of tires. They're trying to get everything they can. Frank Harris gets loose, and just calamity further back.
Man, what a tough break. My, oh my, ouchie wawa. 3 laps to go. Overtime attempt number 2 is coming up. And this is not done yet. Wow.
I'm
not done
I'm able
yet.
to.
Samuel will try again.
Yeah, this is going to be our final attempt. So if a yellow comes out, we'll finish this race under yellow. But I actually was relooking on my side of things, and the timing that the yellow came out, I think the yellow waved right before, maybe about 30 feet before that of Dan West Jr. crossed the line. That's when the yellow waved.
Well, even though that is, the top 10 have to cross the scoring loop before a caution is thrown for the white flag to stand. If there was if there was an accident and not all of them passed, then we're doing what we're doing right now. But if we had got the top 10 cross the start finish line, then the race probably would have been called for sure, because they would say, okay, half the field took the white flag, race is official. But overtime attempt number 2, and I will let everyone know this is the final attempt. Samuel Dyer, would you have it any other way?
Absolutely not. I mean, there's so much playoff implications here. You got Dan West Jr. in the lead. If he wins, he gets locked in. Devin West already locked in, trying to help his dad get into the next round. Caden Anderson comes in outside of our top 4 into this race. Sean Breisman outside of the top 4 coming into this race. If either one of those drivers, they get locked in, and they can be pushing out Ryan Bloom or even Dan West Jr. So the pressure's on. You got to make sure you finish out this race clean, and hopefully you win this race.
As our friend of Nazareth, Keith Bradley, says, we've had a lot of accidents tonight. And there's one more attempt for more of them. Here we go. Lights are off of the pace car. So the scenario is this. Green flag, wreckers or checkers. They take the caution. They go back to the fastest scoring loop on the track when they were green and set the finish. Or we run to the checkered flag. Final race, penultimate of the championship 8 before the final round at Homestead, and then the season finale at Vegas with the championship 4. To the line, back to the Geico restart zone, green flag in the air, and it is Dan West Jr. with the assist from his son. They'll send it to turn 1. Brightsman, Anderson, Stab now, top 5 and 2.
And right there, clean to see Devin West. He's going to make the clear on Caden Anderson. Anderson's got to figure out how to pass 2 West drivers if he wants to win here tonight. But at the same time, he's got that of Sean Breisman. Fresher tires on the 46 on the outside of the 37 as they're coming out of 4.
They'll come to the line. White flag in the air. The CRN 1 to go goes up. Football, iRacing, basketball. Next 3 days on CRN. They're in turn 2 for the final time. Dan West Jr. looking to try to transfer.
Dan West Jr. just pulling away. You know Devin West's going to hold him off. That Stab now gets a little bit out of shape, back for battling for 5th, but up front, it's the 55 and the 5. 1-2 as they're side by side for 3rd.
It's Dennis Moore. It's Devin West, and now add Daddy West. Dan West Jr. wins here at New Hampshire, and West has split the championship 4 in half for West Racing as he wins in overtime number 2. Second spot to his son, Devin West, the blocker. Sean Brightsman 3rd. Caden Anderson 4th. Those drivers still in the orange outside the top 8 of the points, trying to get into the final 4. Boy, oh boy, if we've done anything, Samuel, we have Katie barred the door for what should be one hellacious race next week at Homestead, Miami.
I mean, it's incredible to look to see of our top 4. They're all playoff drivers, and the fact that Dan West Jr. is locked in, they're already having fun out there, bashing themselves in. But, you know, Dan Lather, want to give note, 5th place runner, his first top 5 of the season.
Upside down, flying through the air, is also Troy Daggett wrecking into the pit lane. And look at Dan West Jr., look at the hang time. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. Yep, flying through the air now. This is not good. Oh, somebody's coming after him. Listen. Oh, Jeff Stab now crawls by.
They're crawling.
We call that the Northwest High Five salute. And I talk about highfalutin salute right there as Dan West Jr. just got sent into orbit like he was a virtual version of William Shatner going into space. And look.
Wow.
Sean
Paulson was a missile there.
Commence bombing. Wow. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. What if real race cars across America could actually do that for real in celebration, Samuel? Wouldn't that just be awesome?
That would be terrifying.
Oh.
I think, if anything, that's called a Destruction Derby, so we're good on that end.
There you go. This race is over here at New Hampshire. Let's take a look at the unofficial results that are about to become official. And the man, Dan West Jr., defending Truck Series champion, might I add, just like Chase Elliott defending his championship run in the Cup Series this Sunday at Phoenix. Well, Dan West Jr. is going to go to the championship 4 as well. Going into Homestead, he will run at Vegas for the final race. His son also in there. He'll finish second. Sean Brightsman still coming up short. Caden Anderson fourth. They did all they could. What a hell of a drive for Dan Lowther, finishing out of the top 5. Jeff Stabnow, a good run for him. Solid top 10. Tyler King, Stephen O'Hare, Troy Daggett, and by the way, the other man that's in the final 4, Dennis Moore. 3 now are locked in, and that's your top 10.
Yeah, one more race to go and one more chance for a lot of these playoff drivers to lock themselves in. Ryan Bloom came in 4th in points, most likely going to be bumped out after tonight's run. Kevin Smith still in a must-win scenario going into next week, going to be in 12th. Ray Fortner is going to be getting 13th with Stephen Paulson 14th. Aaron Cooper is going to be finishing out our top 15, as well as Frank Harris, B.J. Tidrick, James Vining, and then that of Roy Grande and Scott Hutchinson, finishing out your top 20 and your 20 drivers that raced here tonight.
Well, man, quick break. We will join our drivers in just a moment. Top 3 on the podium. We're going to make it quick. Man, it's been a long day. We hope you've enjoyed coverage, man. We've had Finish Line here. We also had this awesome iRacing event. And, dude, Homestead is going to be wild next Wednesday night. Cup and Truck, for that matter. ARCA also this Friday. We'll wrap it up here from New Hampshire when we return, as right now Dan West Jr. will be kissing that big, louded Northeast Lobster in virtual victory lane. We'll talk to him in a moment. Welcome back to coverage of the Northwest iRacing Playoffs, presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group here on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. For those that are listening on the Community Radio Network, Samuel Dyer, Wesley Outland back here with you, and man, what a wild one. We'll give our final thoughts on things in a moment, but first we'll grab third place, Sean Brightsman. Sean, it was a battle, a demolition derby in a circle, it felt like. You end up on the podium, you finish third. What do you think we're going to see at Homestead next week?
Oh, what are we going to see? Hopefully lots of green flag racing, to be honest. Homestead is a blast. So I'm hoping it's not a bunch of yellows. Although a bunch of yellows helped me out tonight, but yeah, hoping it's not a bunch of yellows. I love Homestead, love racing it. Looking forward to it. We're gonna have a pretty tight battle for this fourth position with everybody, Dennis, Dan, Devin, all locked in to the championship 4. So.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, tonight you noted on the fact of yellows kind of helping you out, but at the same time, you had to make some very gutsy calls there late, having to come in and pick up a set of tires back on lap 117. What was going through your mind when you decided to come into pit road, similar time that all the Beaver State Racing guys came in? What was going through your mind at that moment?
That I could see my hood, so I had a set of tires in there in a fast repair, and that was probably my only saving grace at that point. If I stayed out or anything, I'd have probably finished 18th or worse. So, figured the tires and a new truck probably would have got me up maybe to the top 5, hopefully, depending on cautions, but even better, and got a top 3. So.
John, your take of the race here tonight, aggressive driving, people playing nice, and then the final 20 laps, all bets are off, and you were amongst some crazy shenanigans down the stretch, and you survived it to be on the podium.
Yeah, it was quite the race. We had a nice green flag run. I completely missed the setup, and I think I've got it dialed in now after all those restarts. But yeah, just a crazy race. Lots of issues on my part, not avoiding things or getting in the wrong spot, and just racing hard. I mean, we're coming down to the done.
All right, so there's the thoughts of, again, the driver. John Brightsman, defending Cup Series champion of last year. Tonight, he will settle for what will be the number 3 position. Second spot, Devin West. He won ARCA on Friday. He won the race for the Cup Series, non-playoff contender on Monday, and tonight helping his father get the win. He is in the championship 4. Half of the West Racing family from Team LSRTV will race for the championship coming up in 2 weeks at Vegas. Devin, your take of it. Was it son helping father? Was it trying to help your teammate if it wasn't father-son and meaning so much more and giving him the assist to be able to race for a championship?
No, I want to say that. I think he earned it 100%. He was fast all night, and on that green flag run, he was definitely taking off for me. So I definitely think he earned every single bit of it. Obviously, I did everything I could to help him out beyond that. But I think he earned it, and we had a pretty good set tonight. Pretty good truck next to Jeff and Sean, and also Dad, of course, for putting a lot of time in this week. And put us in a position to get a 1, 2, 3, which is pretty darn cool. It's been a while since we had that, but I think he earned it. I think Sean earned his 3rd place, and we all kind of earned we're finished, and it just is awesome as a team.
Yeah, I mean, Devin, you kind of said your dad seemed like the fastest driver here tonight, but you certainly had a war for that later half of the race trying to hold off Kane Anderson. How was it on those last couple of restarts, knowing the 37 had slightly fresher tires than you, and you had to figure out how to hold them off?
Oh, I think everybody watched the Cup race, and also like a little extension of that, right? I definitely have plenty of practice on that. I knew we had fresher tires, but I also knew that maybe we had a better truck in the short run. It's something we maybe could have said. And also, I knew the tire wear wasn't a whole lot, especially with all those cautions I did at the end. So I knew I could do it. I was confident myself, and I knew I had the ability to at least slow him down a little bit, right? Make my dad a chance. Even then, I knew my dad was good enough and he was fast enough. He was gonna pull away anyway, so I wasn't too pressured about it. And just kind of ran my own race and tried to get second. Obviously I would have loved to win tonight, cap off the perfect week, but I finished second to Dad, and seeing a 1, 2, 3 for LSRTV is even better. So pretty happy.
Final question, I'll let you go. Also, thank your sponsors in closing, Devin West. What does it mean to you to know that half the field for the championship 4 is going to be from the West family?
It feels great. Obviously, last year, it was me and Dad, and we got to battle after the championship. But hopefully we can get all 3 of us in there. Hopefully we can get Sean in there. That's looking pretty good. Just gotta execute one more week, and it feels great. As a team, You know, this guy, or us, this whole team puts in a lot of work. You know, more than just these past few weeks. You know, it's been months and months, and obviously Jeff and Sean put in just about every Sunday work. You know, just for the league in general, and then also find time to make their stuff better and put themselves in the chance to go race championships. And that's a lot of hard work. You know, so hopefully that pays off for us, and we get 3 of us in there and give us the best chance we can. And that'd be awesome. You know, I feel like we're all deserving to win championships. All 3 of us are capable of winning championships, especially this year. And so we can all go to the championship round and just kind of battle it out. And hopefully, one of us walks away with it, then have a perfect year. Also,
Well, I will.
sponsors.
Go ahead.
Sorry, sponsors. Also, you guys, great broadcast week in, week out. Like I was talking about, Jeff, Sean, everyone that puts on this league, like they're talking with the drives meeting today. It's probably one of the best leagues on iRacing. So, pretty grateful to be part of it. Real sponsors, Put to Web Solutions, Kenny's Custom Hardwood, and Merch Source Distributing. They'll do a lot for us in real life and on the same too. So, shout out to them.
Well, I will say this, and I know we'll give our close in here in a minute, but they have updated the point standings, and your teammate, Sean Breitzman, in the number 4 spot right now. He jumped up 1 position from 5th to 4th, so he did what he needed to do to at least have a podium. He sits at number 4 behind just a couple of points back, 3 points back to Caden Anderson, 2 points back to Ryan Bloom, Tyler King, and obviously the Hail Mary needs to happen for Kevin Smith. And, of course, right now he is in position number 4. We'll see what happens at Homestead next week. Thank you, Devin West. And now to Dan West Jr. from Shelton, Washington, both father and son, and the defending Northwest iRacing Truck Series champion will get an opportunity, just like Chase Elliott will, to defend his crown of the NASCAR Championship Cup Series on Sunday at Phoenix. Dan, how does it feel to know you're going to Vegas and you got a chance to win this championship again for 2 years in a row?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm totally relieved. I just waiting for something to step up and bite us, and or me mess up again. I feel like that my team has given me such an awesome truck all year long, and in the last couple of races we had a chance to win, right? And we were lead, I think, the most laps, and something usually came up, and we didn't end up able to seal the deal. So it feels pretty good to finally get that.
Yeah, I mean, Dan, you could probably elaborate on a little bit more on that. I mean, coming into this race, we'd seen those mistakes. Was there a lot of pressure coming into this race, and at the end, were you kind of concerned that is something else going to happen here tonight?
Well, the pressure thing, it's like Sean says, and reminds me that we're here to race to have fun, right? So at the end of the day, you don't make the championship. We're here having fun racing. So you try to take that pressure off yourself. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's you kind of, after making as many mistakes as I have in the last couple of races, I feel like, can I still do it, right? I mean, can I still get to victory lane? So, at the end of the day, yeah, it feels good.
Dan, I asked this question to your son, Devin. I'll now ask you, what does it mean for you knowing that you're going to be running with your son 2 years in a row now for a chance at the championship?
Well, it's going to be a battle. I mean, I've got a tough team. I mean, if we need to get Sean in there next, and racing your own teammates it's going to be a battle. I mean, as you can see, Devin put on a hell of a show there at New Hampshire this weekend. So he's definitely a little wheel man. So I know the guys are going to put the work in. LSRTV is going to be prepared and ready to go at Homestead. So, or actually, I'm sorry, Vegas. So yeah, it'll be a battle, and I'm proud to have him in there. So.
Well, it's going to be an exciting one. A final question, and I will let you go, and you can thank your sponsors as well. The relief of knowing that whatever happens here the rest of the way, you're in the championship 4. How does that feel going to Homestead next week?
No, it's total relief. I mean, I get to go to Homestead and relax and work on getting Sean in next. So that to me, I'm looking forward to Homestead because it'll be kind of relaxing and back to having some fun, and then we can do the pressure cooker at Vegas. So sponsors, Effective Web Solutions, LSRTV, Wesley, Samuel, appreciate all you do. Cody behind the scenes, he does an awesome job. all the guys that work behind Sean and Jeff, you guys just don't realize how much work they do, and I appreciate everything they do. My teammates are incredible. They give us really good trucks week in, week out, so appreciate them. Thanks, guys.
3 drivers now joining Dennis Moore and Devin West is Dan West Jr. Winner tonight here at New Hampshire as he survives a wild one in double overtime at the Magic Mile. We will take a quick break to thank Tom Dinchell Auto Group. Samuel and I will wrap it up next.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Well, Samuel, I always said that these are like stories and they're like chapters, and these chapters are coming to the end of this book. And man, was this one masterpiece chapter everybody should check out. Check out the replays. Listen to the audio replay of your take of New Hampshire, my friend. We're going to wrap it up and get out of here very quickly. But I will say they want their friend 3 out of 4 for Team LSRTV, Sean Brightsman, the defending Cup Series champion, to run for the championship with Dan and Devin West. And right now, he's on the bubble in 4th.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting race on how the drivers are going to have to attack going into next week. But here tonight, we got to see that long green flag run early. But at the end, just chaos. I don't think anyone really knew if we were going to go into overtime. We needed that final attempt. And even in that final attempt, we didn't even know really who was going to get that win until coming out of 4. Dan West Jr., it was kind of the goal of the team, get either Dan West Jr. or Sean Brightsman into that next round. And it worked out that it was the 55, our champion from last season. He gets to now defend at Las Vegas.
And it should be a good one. Samuel, I hate to say this. I hate to see this thing come to an end. It's been fun, and we're about to see who's going to be the chapter or the champion here in the next couple of weeks. Could we see Dan West Jr. repeat? He's back in the catbird seat. But I will say he's got some competition, not only in his son, Dennis Moore. We talk about the Beaver State guys. He's hungry. He's improved dramatically in the last couple of months. And in addition to that, Sean Brightsman. Never count him out. Some Hail Marys, some crazy, desperate positions, I believe. Some virtual moves are going to be made to try to get themselves into that final spot because, honestly, Samuel, there's one spot left for the taking, and that's it.
Yeah, for whoever gets that final spot, it's going to be 2 races of practically feeling like you have to win to get the win to race in for a championship 4. And then at Las Vegas, you're going to have to feel like you're going to have to win to get a championship. It is, like I said, the pressure cooker is in. You either you make it or you don't. Next week, going to be your last chance to race for a championship. And we're going to say goodbye to 4 other drivers when they're looking for that one spot.
Samuel, always fun working with you, my friend. We'll see you next Monday night. He's Samuel Dyer. I am Wesley Outland. One more look, of course, from Chicagoland Speedway. We're going to get our flights and get home. Hopefully, we'll be able to pack our bags and be ready to go to sunny Miami next week with no problems. From virtual Chicagoland, there is a shot of the virtual Magic Mile at New Hampshire. Congratulations to Dan West Jr. Winner, going to the championship 4. 3 drivers in, 1 spot remains. Right now it's Sean Brightsman, and this story concludes to decide who will get that 1 spot next week, beginning Friday this week with the ARCA Series Northwest Cup and Truck. Next Monday and Wednesday, we'll have it for you on LSRTV and the Community Radio Network. For Rocket Media and LSRTV Productions, all the crew. For Samuel Dyer, I'm Wesley Outland. Congratulations to DWJ